Hey everyone, welcome to another challenge recap video. As usual, I have my man Philip with me holding it down, and we're going to talk about the drink label challenge that we just completed a little bit ago. We're going to go through some entries and award a special winner to get a $25 Amazon gift card a little bit later. So make sure you're watching till the end to see if it's your design that's getting that special prize. And with this drink label challenge, there was a couple of things that we really wanted to see, really just thinking about what are the components that go on a drink label. And there's everything under the sun. There's every kind of like minimal can design, and there's elaborate vintage bottle design. And interestingly, we saw a lot of vintage entries, which is cool for us. You know, we have our roots in vintage, so that we were happy to see that. But I was actually expecting to see more kind of modern, simplistic labels, which we'll get into a little bit. And so things like the name, things like the ingredients, things like alcohol by volume, things like how many fluid ounces, these are what you really need to think about if you're going to do an actual commissioned package design, because these things are important. So Philip, did you have any other thoughts about what we would be looking for in this challenge before we go to the top three?
Yeah, we will look for how well you accomplished what you already said. That we have the spaces for the information, and then how you bring this together, the whole mix. How is the composition? How is the harmony? How does the typeface work with the illustrations that you're using, and all this classic stuff that we are looking at for these kind of labels.
Yeah, and that mixed in, of course, with overall design, hierarchy, things like that. Because you could have all that information all just like the same, and it's gonna kind of fall apart. So here is our
Right.
top three. Congrats to the top three, by the way. These are all amazing designers. We know all of you, Eric, Kathy, and Julian. You guys have been with us from the beginning, and it's super cool to see you winning some prizes here in our challenge. Let's start with number three. So we'll go three, two, and then one. With number three, obviously, I'm a big bourbon, I'm a big whiskey fan. So this already was playing to my heart a little bit. Very interesting design with the label. I love the circle behind the kind of bookmark tag that's on top. The Evan Owens makes me think of Evan Williams, which is not a Tennessee whiskey, but anyway. And I love how the information at the bottom is in its own little boxes. That's very, very vintage, very classy to have that 700 milliliters, 94 proof. It's checking a lot of boxes here, as well as minimal colors. I love it. I could see this definitely on a bottle, maybe with the gold foil would be on top of this whiskey label. That would be super cool. What do you think about number three here?
A very good choice of colors, I think, and also a good attention to detail with the using white as the brightest color for the name Owens. So it's really like
Sticking
jumping to
out.
your face, like really present in a. If you see it in the store, you would directly notice this product, I think, and really good choice of fonts and elements in general. So it's really harmonic, pretty nice. Only thing, I don't know if we have a font that has a W that's a little less wide, because when you look
Yeah.
at the Owens, the W is a little bit too wide, but actually, if the font is like this, it's just like this. You can't really do anything about
You
it,
can't
but
do any. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
only critique that I can think of with this design here.
Yeah, I can definitely see how, there could be some improvement with this, whatever these imaginary grid lines are. We fill that up with a font that works, because right now it's kind of like small, wide, small, wide, small. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot, and it's like you said already, it's using colors really nicely, and this would stick out already on the shelf for sure. Like it definitely will, or stick out and or just fit with a lot of them. There's a there's a lot that are in this style. So a little bit of a different take, still in that kind of vintage, maybe more like mid-century vibe. Julian's root beer label has roots in like American colors, which I think it already caters to an audience that beer drinkers that would feel comfortable holding a root beer, because it's like in that same kind of niche. And I love how the elements have been put with the text on the left and the right, as well as we've got some water drops in the back to give it that kind of can that can appearance. So, what do you think about the layout of this one?
Just the first thing, subjective impression. I think it would feel really good to hold this in a hand as a can. I think it just looks super fresh. I like the color choice, of course, and it's a little dimmed down, not so super bright. It looks like
Right.
it's pleasing to the eye, and composition is great. It's like very very good centered, and there's actually nothing I can really. There's nothing bad I can say about that. This is just a cool design. Looks really
Yeah.
buyable. I would like to buy this beer here.
Viable. Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's cool. There's a couple of like I don't know if he's intending to do this. I guess I could ask him, but like I definitely like how the white stripes are part of that top area. This I don't know why I'm pointing over here when I can just do it. So these white stripes are like part of this top label, but then this also kind of looks like a football, which is like a big American thing. So it like checks a lot of boxes for a specific audience, but also just looks like it belongs in like those old candy shops, like up in, you know, Tennessee or somewhere in like the mountains where they have these super old candy shops. This would fit right at home. You walk in and you see it in the cooler of like such and such's classic root beer that you can't buy anywhere else. So it feels like that premium, kind of like you said, like you'd want to hold this. Like it feels like a premium product for just root beer, right?
Just these signature elements. I mean, Super Bowl and beer, match made in heaven, maybe too. So it just fits.
Yeah, it fits, man. Excellent job, Julian. Well done. Second place, well earned. And then we have our first place winner, Eric. Eric was actually on Coffee with Kittl a couple weeks ago talking about flash sheets. So I will link that up in the cards for you to check out. Great interview. We went through a ton of different flash sheets as well as what even is a flash sheet, things like that. So check that out. But we're talking about labels right now. So I think first thing right off the bat, obviously, is like the play on words, right? The reference. It's beer 30. You know, I've heard that growing up. Like I've heard it, or beer o'clock, or whatever. Like I'm well accustomed to this lingo. We also have like interesting that we have it as like special lager. So this is a special like reserved barrel or something, I guess, that they put the beer in. And then we have all of our other elements down here that I'm always looking for. So we have 12 ounce, 6%. Then we have down here even where it's from. A lot of Tennessee. So we have Tennessee here, and then we have Tennessee over on the whiskey label. Colors wise, I think the colors are super cool. Of course, this like sand color would be gone. That would be whatever color the bottle is, or the beer can, or whatever. And I really like how the element, the beer glass with the wings is like super cool. And the colors are vibrant, man. This would stick out. I think this would catch attention and compete with a bunch of other beer labels. What do you think about this one?
This is just it's a fun design. It has this, like you already said, these vibrant colors. It looks like fun, And also, I think we already said that in the Christmas sweater challenge. There is a special kind of really solid humor that always works. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
too complex or too
No.
too simple. You look at this and you think, nice.
Yeah. You're like,
And
nice. Yeah. That could be a thing.
well
Yeah.
deserved first place from a design point of view, and also a conceptual context point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the only thing that's a little bit strange,
Yeah.
is it's actually bigger like this. I'll just leave it like this. Is the way that AM quitting time and PM is a little bit just not on the same line, and maybe that's intentional. I do like how the glyph has been used here with the extra flourish, like here on the M. It's really cool how it's bookending, which is nice. But it is a little jarring maybe to have like AM up here and then a dash down here and then quitting time like on a slight arch, which we understand is like because there's a slight arch to this. But this little area right here, maybe just AM and PM could have been smaller and just straight, like no reason to be on an angle maybe. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks a bit jumpy. Like it's really like it gives a noisy character to this, and I think wild guess here, but I think it happened because the label itself has these shapes, and if you would
Yeah.
have put this on one curve, you would have to change the size of the font, and then it's not so readable anymore. And I think this is a practical choice here, but maybe a straight line or just a slighter curving would have been good here.
Yeah.
But
But the reference
you
is
only see
cool.
this on the second view, right?
Yeah, and the reference is solid. It also kind of plays in with the beer 30. So contextually, it's also
Yeah.
really funny. It's also very good, and it feels at home for sure. It feels at home in the label.
Mm.
Just a small little, always, you could always tweak things. You could tweak things forever, right? Like, I think one of my favorite recaps we did is where you and I were talking, and I was like, of course, you don't have to do what we say. And then you said, you don't have to do anything. Like, we're just here to like give you high over level thoughts and you don't have to do anything. All right. So well deserved the top three. We're going to get into some honorable minage. We're going to get into some honorable mentions. It's early for me over here. And we have already picked out a couple. So we're going to go through those. And then we are also going to award a special winner. So the first one we're going to talk about is This Deep Red by Justin. I was drawn to this one early in the challenge because I had already been seeing a lot of vintage entries, which again is super super cool. But then this one stood out because amongst all of those vintage ones, this one was very sleek. It looked very modern to me. And for me, it was checking boxes. Like we have the ABV there right underneath berry infused cider, and just the layout in general. It's using vintage etched looking illustrations, but the way this is composed is like super modern. Like I would see this for sure in like a new age kind of modernist brewery or like a high end grocery store or something like that. I think the overall composition of this is like completely there. What do you think about this one?
Totally. We have these vintage elements, but what is bringing this together and making it look like a contemporary design? It's the colors here. It's the reduction, and this is what we do in contemporary design. We have only three colors here. We have the white, this purplish red, and we have this off black color. And we only use these three colors. And even though we have some very detailed illustrations, we make them like a little bit more decent in the background and
Yeah.
giving the typeface it's really present here. You can really read it very good, and it's really coming in your face. And it's somehow it's a little aggressive, but in a good way, because it shows you, hey, here I'm a cool product, buy me. And this
It
is
looks
really
like it's got a
important
little
for,
kick. Yeah.
yeah, it looks like that's a good drink there. And yeah, and I think it's really here. It's really the colors that makes this an outstanding design. Also, the use of this really reduced icon on top. That's also giving
Yeah.
this
The way
contemporary impression.
Yeah, that's like the driving factor when you look at it again. You do kind of see maybe deep red first, then you see these two illustrations. You see that kind of etched one, and then you see this really sleek minimal one. And so then you say, maybe up on the brewery, this is probably the logo. So it's all
Yeah,
branded very
right.
nicely. Yeah, it's just it looks like it's got some kick to it. It's a little spicy. A
Mhm.
little intense label that pops out with that red, but like you mentioned earlier, not so red that it's like a popsicle red or something like that. It's still muted, but on a can or a bottle or something, it would still kind of glisten. So I think job well done to this one for sure. Frenzied Frog Beer. Now, I have to be honest. The reason I wanted to choose and talk about this one is because I have been playing the new Hogwarts Legacy game, and this feels like it would fit in that fantasy world. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, uh, Hogwarts Legacy is using almost all of our heritage type vintage fonts, which you can use in Kittl. So if you're playing that game, let us know down in the comments. I absolutely love it. I'm playing it every night. But back to this, it looks like it belongs. I love how that frog with like the magic sparkles, man, it's working there. I love frenzied in this font that looks froggy to me. Like it looks like it's got the horn, like a horned frog or something like that. Of course, we got alcohol 10%, checking all the boxes. And I also like how these two pieces of the label are individual. So you'd have this piece up top that would go around the bottleneck or something with the little icon of the hop there. And
Mhm.
I would say for me, the biggest improvement here could probably be that curved text would maybe be better just all caps and maybe even in a different font choice because it's not quite aligned to the circle and it's a little hard to read. What do you think about this label?
I think we have at least one color that is too much. So
Okay.
you could have made the stars and the frog all in this bluish. I can't really see it. It's a more black or bluish dark color, and then get rid of the white infill of the frog, so you have a good
Oh,
contrast.
I see. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so then it would come together a little more, and also this would lead to you have a pretty big gap between frog and beer
And
between the
beer.
two
Yeah,
words.
right here. Yeah.
And yeah, right. And this is a quite a it's a spot that is really it's drawing my eye to this spot because it looks like there should be something, you know. And if you would have
Mhm.
made the frog a little darker, these stains that come down from the frog illustration would have filled out this area. So yeah, reduce
Yeah.
the color and yeah, clean up a little.
Yeah, and it's there. Like it's a great concept. This looks like it
Yeah,
definitely belongs on a bottle.
yeah,
People would buy it. I don't know what frog beer tastes like, but people would buy it because it looks cool. So yeah, just
it
small
looks magical.
improvements. Yeah, it's magical. So think about
Yeah.
that. Maybe work on some text up here around your hop icon, and then fill this space. And I think we're there. So well done, Vicky. Excellent design. Let's check out this one. Very very different. We're making a big turn here. So uh, Leo Energy. So this is obviously an energy drink. This looks like it belongs next to Monster or like one of the other big brands. I don't drink energy drinks, so I'm like blanking on like Fuel maybe is another one. I'm sure any kind of like engine like language is probably an energy drink. I would assume. But we have like infused with lion's mane. So lion's mane is in a lot of different. It's actually in what I'm drinking right now, which is called Joey. But like lion's mane is like a big thing right now in a lot of like energy drinks, coffee alternatives, like wellness drinks. So it's cool to see that little part in the box there infused with lion's mane. And then we have our three focal points. Like, what is this energy drink going to do for you? It's going to give you more energy. It's going to give you more focus. It's going to give you more memory. And then again, what I was looking for was okay. Where is the like? What is this? Where? How much is it? 16 ounces. It is quite small down here, but it still checks the box of having the volume down here. And then we have our blue raspberry flavor. What do you think about this? Very different take on the label challenge.
It's funny because one of my very first design jobs was designing an energy drink. I won't tell you which one it was, but I
Oh
actually had
snap!
this. Yeah, I actually had a design that looked pretty close to this, and you always have these bolts and these bright colors, and this
Yeah,
this hyping energy that you have in these drinks. And I think yeah, it's a really nice and a good attempt to this topic to create something like this for a label. And yeah, I mean, from a design perspective, you can do for this a lot of stylistic variations. But I think that's a good approach here, and especially with these hatched lines that make it a little more dynamic. And
mm,
using this darker blue color for the taste, I think that's a really good contrast.
yeah, that is nice.
Yeah,
And I also noticed we have got like a pulse, the pulse illustration up here behind the lines. Very very interesting. I like how that bookends both sides here, so it still feels like it has nice symmetry to it. Everything's aligned nice, and those etched lines kind of give they give like momentum right to this
yeah.
continuing the energy thing. So I think this is well done. Just improvement wise, this text up here looks maybe a little bit too close to the sides of that. Of course, if it's on a whole round bottle, maybe it makes total sense. But yeah, just thinking about like how things are going to wrap around is very important for these kinds of label designs because as designers, we work flat. We work on flat art boards a lot, but we need to every once in a while take it out, wrap it around, see what it's going to look like. So always keep that in mind. But generally, this is a great energy design. We've got one called the Witch's Brew 2. Now, I didn't pick this one just because I'm playing the Harry Potter game.
No,
I
no,
didn't
no.
pick that one. Although I'm sure it would fit. This looks more of like a shop, like more of a shop vibe here. I picked this one because I think that it is there's a lot of things that are going on well here, but I think that a couple of tweaks could have taken this to the next level because organizationally there's a lot going on, and things like changing some color, things like changing some of the position of your illustrations, and maybe potentially changing some font choice to something that could be a little bit easier might make this stand out. And the things for me are, cakes and ale kind of is over top of that cup, and it's a little tough to read. And the way that brew company is kind of like curved, almost going off the label a little bit, is a little bit too big. I think the top text, the cup, and the bottom text are just, I don't know what to look at. I don't know what's most important. And I think just fixing that a little bit hierarchically would help this design. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, would go through this from top to bottom. And first of all, I think the first impression that you get here is really cool because you see this and it looks really interesting. And the color choice is quite nice with this
Mm,
greenish, bluish color and
hinge,
the
yeah.
golden, yellowish color mixed with the dark background. That's really cool. But I will try to give some ideas how you could change this a little more so it's a little less wild, but
Mm,
the wildness in this is pretty good, but it's the readability is kind of suffering from it. So
the
when we
readability,
when we
yeah.
start, yeah, when we start at the top, the witches, you could have just get rid of the outline. I think that would look perfectly fine because the typeface already has a lot of detail compared to a grotesque typeface, for example. So you don't really need this here.
Mm,
And then you go down to this to these lines that make like a fiery impression. That's quite good. I think that's quite good. You can leave it like this, but the level of detail here is really good, and for this amount of design elements. But when you go deeper, you find this small book and this star pentagram there. And compared to these drawn lines above them, they are way too detailed. And
yeah.
you should have, or you could have, chosen some illustrations that are the same images but with lesser detail. So we bring it more together, and it's not so hard to read for the eye what you're actually showing there. Because on the second or third view, I just understand what I'm seeing there. And for a label, it's really important that it's readable what you're showing there. So when you go down further, you come to these corn. What do you call that? I don't
Yeah,
know.
like the
Here
hops.
the level of detail is, yeah, here the level of detail is fine again, and then you come further down to this typeface that is really cool actually. But I think it's just a little too much because in this area you have this cross section where you have this grail
Yeah.
cutting into the typeface, and it's
Yeah.
already hard to read. So here you should have chosen maybe a different font or maybe a shorter name. So the letters get bigger, or you put them more to the right and to the left. So you clean up this area a little. And then we get to the bottom of this. You have this white outline again that you have on the top. Yeah, and I think I can't really read what is written there.
Yeah, I think it says brewed in Semaine.
Yeah, but actually, it doesn't matter that I can't see the words. It just shows me there is something wrong with this. You
Right,
need
I see.
to get rid of the. That's my point. You need to make it readable. Even
Yeah.
though it's really wild and it's cool and it's fun, you always should be able to read it if it's a product,
Mm, yes.
because you want to
Yeah,
know what you're buying there.
absolutely. Yeah, and
Yeah,
and this one has I picked this one because it really does have a lot of potential, and it's really cool. And with
yeah,
all of the things, with all of the I can see that there was a lot of intentionality with picking these things, and it has a lot of potential just hierarchically, we need to make sure things are legible, easier to read. And I think some of these elements, like you already mentioned, can play in together a lot better. Picking illustrations that are the same detail level is extremely important, like the
Yeah,
book or the star, or even doing something like making that grail smaller, bringing the banner to the front, and just having text like "made since 19." There's a lot of different things you could do to make
yeah,
this just a little bit easier to read. And then you could even keep some of your cool font choices if we clean up the ability to read it. But
yeah.
yeah, job well done, excellent entry. I like it. Think about these things. Sorry, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
And just to make this clear, I'm only saying so much stuff because I think this has really a lot of potential.
Yeah,
I'm not saying this because I think it's bad or anything. If I would have thought that, I wouldn't say anything at all. I think it's really good, and you just need to make some. It's just in the details here. From the
yeah,
concept, it's really cool, and I really like it. It's fun. I like to look at this. I like this illustration heavy attempt here, and seeing a chalice or a grail on this, I think it's really cool. Good idea,
yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Excellent.
I'll
Well,
try and
well
do it.
done. Looking forward to future challenge entries from you. We're going to take another little turn towards more modern. This, oh, I already commented on this. I love how minimal this is. I already commented on my own thought. Uh,
Yeah,
so I think that this is interesting, and it's because not because of like there's a lot of white space, which is nice, but because it's tonic water. Okay, so tonic water is a an additive. Usually, I've got it upstairs. We use it to top off or use in a drink, a mixing drink, or something like that. But I would buy this tonic water, okay, because it's just water, but it looks super cool. It looks super premium. We've got natural flavors. Maybe there's multiple flavors of this tonic water. Maybe there's some with sugar, without. We have a really nice 1879 with the little palm tree illustration there that fits the overall vibe of this. And for some reason, I love the orange just oval coming down into the thing. I don't know why. It's like it's
I think
just
I can
cool.
tell you why.
Go
I
ahead,
think I
tell me
can tell
why.
you why.
Tell me why.
Do you? There is a cigarette brand. I will not tell you which one, but I don't know how it is over there in the US. But we have a pretty famous cigarette brand here, that has really much the same layout as this one, with
Hmm.
the top where you can open the package,
You open it that
and you have
package that
the
way.
circle. Yeah, yeah, and also the format of this is really like a cigarette box, at least
It
here
is
in
quite
Germany.
small. Yeah,
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 yeah. And I think I like this design very much because I know it somehow. It looks different. It's not the same, but I have
yeah,
seen it, and somehow I like it because I have the feeling that I feel comfortable with this, but I don't know exactly why. In this case, I know why because I've seen it before. But every time you create something and it looks like something else that is not too close to it, you always have a connection to what you're seeing there,
yeah,
unconscious, and this is really cool.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think it's great, and I think that this could work both as like a sticker label, like a label that goes on a bottle. Maybe it's a little bit more premium. Maybe it's a glass bottle instead of a plastic bottle. Or,
yeah,
I mean, the two functions or the two ways we buy it is like it's either like a can or it's a bottle. So, but this could also work as a can if that top oval part wraps around all from where the top of the lid of the can is. That would also be cool. But I mean, it
yeah.
checks all the boxes. Again, for me, we've got 10 fluid ounces, very important. We've got 295 milliliters, and then I could see easily on the reverse side of this. I can already kind of see in my mind. It's crazy how this happens. You can already see like what the details would look like, what the ingredients look like, and the warning and the whatever and the disclaimer and stuff. So
You could improve the harmony between the elements. The
hmm,
tonic water could be a little, the 1879 on top could be a little bigger, just a little
okay,
bit.
yeah,
So you don't have so many blank spaces, or at least it's a little more balanced. Right now, it looks a little bit bottom heavy, tonic water is a little bit too much down, and you could make this whole circle in the middle a little more harmonic, so it has the same weight at every spot. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I would give the natural flavors a little more space between between natural flavors and the circle. So
Yeah.
just minor tweaks, but it would make this image feel much more harmonic, even though it already feels harmonic, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. It would just take
Yeah.
it's those little things that take it to the next level, just the absolute next
Yeah.
level for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great. Always thinking about things like line weight, distance as well, like space, like do your design elements have little room to breathe? Yeah, that's super awesome. But job well done. Hopefully I'm saying your name right, Rody. Or yeah, I think it's Rody. But
I think
excellent,
it's really.
excellent. Yeah, I've already commented on this, so you already know that this was a great one, and it was also just a great one to talk about because it was different. It's a little bit more modern, a little bit more sleek. It's almost a more reduced version of the red one that we looked at earlier, which was super modern. Um,
Mhm.
so moving down, let's look at we're gonna look at Stevo. So Stevo, really nice to see an entry from you. Yeah, always a pleasure talking with you. I know you've been using Kittl for a while, so we're happy to see a design entry from you. And this one also, much like we mentioned before, has a lot of potential. I think element selections are cool. I do like the idea of these leaves in the back, as well as kind of a more what am I trying to say with the font selection is like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of vibes, like some kind of potion or some kind of like maybe even another like energy drink or of sorts. But I would say that a couple things that could take this to the next level is again just hierarchy. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to look at first, if it's the middle text or is it the alligator or is it the skull? What's the connection between the alligator and the skull? Um, so and then just a couple things like 18% could just also be white, maybe. Maybe even a little bit more filler text to the left to fill out the bottom left of this label design. What would you say for this one?
So first of all, this is a German thing here.
Oh yeah,
And the center is mint liqueur, and mint liqueur is kind of it's mint, like the fresh stuff. Like this is why you see these leaves there. It's
the
mint,
leaves in the back.
and
Yeah,
it's a mint liquor. We have stuff like this here. I think you have too, but
yeah.
here it's really it's kind of always really sweet, and it's really dangerous to drink it sometimes because all the sugar. It makes you
Yeah.
really go wild, and this is why you see these crazy eyes in the background. That's at least my
Ah,
interpretation.
I see.
So
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, Stevo, Grüße gehen raus. It's a nice design, and it definitely represents the spirit of these kinds of liquors.
Is there anything you think that could like take this to the next level? Maybe just with like different color of the alligator or like text placement or something like that?
Yeah, I would dim down the black of the skull, so you take a darker green. That's for the hierarchy here. So if
Mm,
you would dim down the black of the skull and give it the darker green of the alligator's outline, you would
mm.
make these two elements more of a union, and then you would put the type more in front of everything. So you create a hierarchy, and it gets a lot calmer by this. So this is what I would do, and I think you could give this a great texture to, because
Mm.
the styles here are really different, and to, if you don't want to change the elements, then you have to unify it somehow, and this would work by giving it a texture. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Super
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, it's a very good idea for a label, and especially like you said, kind of knowing the reasoning. It really ties everything together, which is nice.
Yeah.
So well done, Stevo. Super excited to see an entry from you. But just job well done to everyone. There's so many. Look at all these labels. Like, there's so much we could go into. There's so many more we could talk about because they're all so good. Very pleased with this challenge. A lot of people really did take the brief and did a good job making sure that things have everything that we wanted. Like, what are the pieces that are in a drink label? Like, what do the people need to know? How much is it? How many? How much percent is in it? Things like that. Um, and by the way, don't forget to check out the next challenge. Currently, we have a video game shirt challenge, by the way. So, our special winner is going to be Deep Red. So, Justin, we selected yours as the special winner. Um, just because, I mean, it checks all the boxes. It's also just a little bit different, but still has those vintage vibes. It has the nostalgic vibe, and it feels like this could really cater to multiple audiences. So, Philip, was there anything else you wanted to mention as to why this is our special winner?
Yeah, actually, what I'm when we're talking, I think I said this every time that we were talking. It's really important to make it one whole unit, to make it harmonic, so everything fits together. And by reducing the colors and reducing design in general, this what's the name? Who made this? Can't
Justin.
really see it. Yeah, Justin. Yeah, Justin achieved this here, and it's really important for design in general. And I think this concept here shows, even though if you can't really say why, from the first impression, this seems pretty aesthetic, and that's really important for design in general. Very very good, very well done. Yeah.
Yes, well done, well deserved special prize. So you will be getting your prize soon. Again, don't forget to check out the current challenges going on right now. Always check the challenges page for more ways to win prizes. These challenges are important to us, and hopefully they're important to you. We love seeing how you are using elements in Kittl, and we also love people getting better at design, stretching their design skills, things like that. Philip, thank you so much for hanging out and going through these. It's always fun for us to do this, take a little bit of a break and look at some designs, and also just look at how people are using stuff in Kittl. It's always super fun. Is there anything you wanted to mention before we sign off here?
Man, this whole thing made me really thirsty, and there is not much. There is not much to add to this. I think we said quite enough. I maybe one more thing. I think since we are doing these challenges, the results are getting better and better with every challenge.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people that take part in multiple challenges, and you really see that they are improving. And it's really cool for us. I think I can talk for both of us, and also for us
Yeah.
as a company, that people are taking part in our challenges, having fun with this, and are improving, getting more and more skills, and having just fun with what we are doing
Yeah.
here as a community. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's super exciting to see how people are growing as well as having fun with the challenges. Everyone, don't
Yeah.
forget to subscribe to the channel. I always forget to mention that at the beginning, but you know how to do it. Click the red button. It takes like 1 second. Leave a comment on what you thought about this video and the feedback. We're super excited to hear from you. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.